Hello and welcome. My name is Brenda Miles. My channel is Handwork Maniac. Okay, today we're going to be talking mostly about cross stitch. I don't think I have any housekeeping. I do have some stitchy kindness. I'll review the May-nia projects that I worked on in May. I do have some finishes. I don't have any new starts except for the May-nia starts. I'll show you all the other whips that I also worked on, tell you about my plans, and then I will show my knitting and crocheting at the very end of the video. And I'll talk more about that later. Okay, stitchy kindness. I was so excited. Stacy, the 911 stitcher on Flosstube, has a wonderful channel. I've watched her forever. She contacted my friend Colette, the highway stitcher, and said she was going to be in Utah and could we meet for lunch. She lives in California. And we said yes. And so we got together for lunch. Her husband was there. My husband was there. We had a fabulous time. So fun to talk to her, get to know her a little bit better. We were talking about how you organize all of your rotation of how often you work on things and when, so you can get to all of your whips. We just had the best time. And she was so sweet. She brought Colette and I a box of chocolate truffles from C's Candies. Oh, they are to die for. I've eaten half of them already. And then she also has started making project bags. And she gave Colette and I each 2 bags. Oh my goodness. Stacy, they are just beautiful. Look at that patchwork. And the decorative stitching on the back. She is going to start selling her bags. 911 Stitcher, so watch her channel if you're interested. Has a zipper top, beautiful fabric on the zipper pole. Beautiful patterned white fabric on the inside. So nicely made. So gorgeous. And then she also had a stack for us to choose from. And I chose this one. I love those colors. More beautiful patchwork. Here is the back. Oh, it was open. Some more beautiful white pattern on the inside. White on white. Just beautiful. And Colette and I decided, because she gave both of us one like this, that we needed to put our Winter Woods project in there, that would be a great bag for that. Thank you again, Stacy. That was so fun and so nice of you to give us these project bags. I lost something, fell off on the floor. Oh, there it is. Needed to pick that up. Okay, what was next? Let's do finishes next. I cannot believe last time I made a video, I forgot to show you the fabulous houses because it was all finished for the last video and it was sitting right there and I completely forgot to show it to you. I can't. I don't know. I have no excuse. So here it is. This is Cottage Garden Samplings. Their fabulous house series during 2024. One came out each month. They were just so much fun. There were actually 13 houses. This one came out as a bonus 13th house, this Tudor house. And there was number 11 is a Halloween kind of a creepy looking house. And I decided to put this one here instead because the house was just a little too creepy for me. I did use the called for color of fabric. This is Prehistoric by Fox and Rabbit. The called for count is 40 and mine is on 46 count. All the whites I changed. They were charted to be 38.65. I changed mine all to Blanc or white so they'd show up a little better. and I used all the called for colors. Each house was mostly DMC with 1, sometimes 2 overdyed colors. And the only other thing I changed was I made the Hobbit house, had a brown wooden door that looked like slats, and I changed it to green. I used 986 and 987 as the 2 green colors here. One of those colors is already used over here. I was so happy to finish it. It was so fun to work on it all the year. It took me clear until, I don't know, sometime in April when I finally finished the last few houses. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just beautiful, beautiful charts. The charts they do all come separately. So if you want to do them all together like this, you'd need to buy all of the charts. Or my daughter just picked her favorite 6 or 9, I can't remember now, and she's just stitching those. You could just do 1. You could do it however you wanted to. Mine are just 3 stitches apart. I put each one, I just left 3 blank stitches at the top on both sides. Otherwise, they're exactly as charted because they all have their own border-ish kind of a thing. Okay, glad I finally remembered to show that to you. Lindy Stitches did the Spring Fling online retreat, and I took the class This Bee's Got Knees. I showed you in the last video that I was working on the pre-stitching, and then I made it into finished the pre-stitching before the class started, sewed it into this box the day of the class, this square. Made the cute perforated paper pins that are glued to the flat-headed pins. I just need to, my felt is coming off. I need to re-glue them. I didn't glue them well enough, apparently. But I just thought that was such a clever way to make cute pins. That was so fun. Loved that class. It's a hands-on design chart. This Bee's Got Knees. And then during my May-nia plans video, I told you that I needed to finish Keeping Watch, an ornament by Blackberry Lane Designs. And it wasn't quite finished, and I was hoping to finish it by the time I got to that day in May-nia so that I could start a new piece. And I did. I finished it before that day and started a new piece on that day. But here it is. It's like a mini Heaven and Earth design full coverage. I think it has like 60, 80 colors in it, but it's just little. I did it 1/1 on 25 count potato Lugana. 1 strand of floss, full cross. It took a long time, but it is gorgeous, just gorgeous. At the Snug Harbor Crafts retreat that I went to in April, Stitch West with Deb and Kef. They are so fabulous, and they always do such a wonderful retreat. The guest designer was Shepherd's Bush, and they gave us this little mini bag and this pattern and everything to make it, the buttons and the floss to stitch it. And I stitched it and I finished it. It is so cute. It was such a fun little stitch. Didn't take very long. So cute. Shepherd's Bush piece mini bag. Oh, Flosstube runny nose. Every time. This was a tiny little thing that I started at, did I start it in April? I think I started it in April at the Stitch West retreat. It's on 40 count fabric Flair Pecan, and it is a Blackbird design. Sweet Summer Comes. It's the pin roll in Sweet Summer Comes. 1/2 with the called for threads. A couple of them were the DMC, but most of them were the overdyed that it called for. So cute, so cute. Okay. Oh, one more. During the May-nia plans, I told you that I was retiring this piece, that I was going to stop it right where it was and just do A, B, C, D. And a kind viewer pointed out that I wasn't really done with D. I hadn't finished this flag up here. I had totally forgot that. So yes, I pulled it out and I did finish that before I got to that day in May-nia. And I will just frame it like this. These three came in a chart called ABC by Prairie Schooler. And then D is in the chart DEF by Prairie Schooler. So cute. Okay. That's all the finishes. I didn't have any new starts except for the ones I started for May-nia. So let's go through. We'll go through the 25 May-nia pieces really quick, and I'll show you how much I got done on those. And then I'll show you on any other projects I worked on besides those since the last video. All right, if we go in order. May 1st was Garden Blessings by Chessie and me. It was a kit that we were given and a class that I took at the Shepherd's Bush retreat last October in Park City. So it came with the fabric and the floss and everything to make it. And it is on 36 count putty linen by Weeks Dye Works. 1/2. Almost got the house done. Beautiful. Day 2 is Arcade. R-KADE by Long Dog Samplers. I started this clear back in 2019, I think. And it's not finished yet, so I just keep working on it on May 2nd, because that's the day I started it. It's on 40 count conifer by Picture This Plus. 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads, and it is a Silks for You silk. It's 2 colors, the main color, and then there's this lighter kind of celery color. The numbers will be in the description box. I worked over here. The verse on it says, "Cares of tomorrow can wait until this day is done." And I love that sentiment. Day 3 was Mystery Marquois by Isabelle Harcourt-Vautier. Here's the model photo. I did mine in blues instead of red. And mine is on 46 count antique white linen, 1/2. They are silks. And the names of them are in the description box. And I was able to finish G. Next, oh, can you see that spool? This was a little spool kit by Paper and Thread called Cheer that was available at the Nashville Needlework Market. And it came with that wooden spool right there with the green thread on it. So it comes with this piece of perforated paper to stitch it on, and then you wrap the paper around the spool when it's finished. And that is how far I got. And I am using Crescent Colors Cupid. That was a new start. May 5th was also a new start because I had finished whatever was on that day. It's Garden Stroll by Carolyn Manning. Oh, and I don't have a good picture of it. Let me find my, here's a teeny picture. If you buy this pack of sulky 12 weight cotton thread, it's that thicker cotton thread made by Sulky. This color pack, to have a number on it, it does, but I don't. Oh, 712-80 is the color pack. And it is 12 colors. And then you get the free Carolyn Manning pattern when you buy this pack of floss to make that design called Garden Stroll. And I'm stitching mine on 36 count Demoiselle by Picture This Plus. I have this cute little bag by Daisy Chain Quilt Co. That's my friend Ginger, that I keep the bobbins in. See if you can see the colors. Demoiselle is a beautiful blue. It kind of looks like Kool-Aid got spilled on it. Oh, you can't see it very well. It's a beautiful light blue with a little bit of pink, a little bit of light green. And this is what I have. Let's move that thread. That's what I have so far. Oh, let's see, maybe if I put the blue behind it, you'll be able to see that better. Beautiful fabric. One strand of the Sulky 12 weight over 2 fabric threads. Next is stitching Shelf, which is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Amy Stewart. This is what the finished piece will look like. Mine is on 25 count Lugana 1/1 full cross. And I got about over 1,000 stitches, I think. I did this whole 10 wide column all the way down here. Oh, and then did some, this started this column up here. I forgot. So that one's looking good. Oh, that's not the next one. This is the next one. This is a Mill Hill kit, part of the Nativity set called Mary. I have it in my wooden magnet holder that was made by PNB. I believe her name is Pam and her husband's name is Bob. PNB. They have an Etsy site and they make these magnetic holders that work well for perforated paper. And I just started on her dress. This bag was made by my friend Victoria, Victoria's Crafty Room. Beautiful bag. All right, and then this one. This is one that's been on the list for several years because it's not finished yet. Praiseworthy Stitches, Churchyard Christmas. Mine is on the called for fabric, which is 32 count Mirage by Picture This Plus. I'm using the called for colors of thread, over dyed threads. 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads, 2 over 2. See if I can get it to behave. And I worked down there, I got, it says Joy to the World at the bottom, and I got the in and the J-O, or O2, T-O-2. Worked on, filled in a lot of the white down there, the snow. The roofs will be filled in later. They're a long satin stitch. Then this one has also been on my May-nia list for a while. Sleeping Princess by Mirabilia. Mine is on 32 count water lily. I'm just gonna have to take this off. And I was working down there at the bottom, mostly on that blue and white sheet that's hanging down. I got over 1,000 stitches in on this one too. She's so beautiful. The next one is Garden of Blessings by Heartstring, which was a class I took at the Shepherd's Bush retreat last October in Park City. This might be a retreat exclusive. Maybe she'll release it later. She told us it was, her inspiration was laying, when you're laying in the grass, like on your stomach or your back, and you're looking up the hill through all the flowers because your eye level is down so low to the little house up on the top of the hill. The verse is, "Many are the flowers in my garden of blessings." And it was given to us as a kit on 36 count vintage stormy night. And I'm using the called for DMC Weeks Dye Works and Crescent colors that she gave us. Sorry, Classic Colorworks. Used to be called Crescent colors. And I'm doing 1/2. And I got quite a bit done. I just did this white flower in class and maybe a little bit of the leaves, and I was able to add all of that. Just beautiful. Oh. They're all sliding down. Goodness. This one was a new start. It was a kit that I bought at that retreat in October in Park City, the Shepherd's Bush retreat, called Blessings Grow Fob. On the front, it says Blessings Grow, and on the back, it says Shepherd's Retreat. And that's what I have so far. Beehive and a cute little flower, and the stem of the flower says strength. And that came as a kit. And the next one we're down to May 12th, is a pattern that I was gifted from Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. She's so fabulous. She gifted me this pattern. She let me pick whatever pattern I wanted for my retirement last summer. And that panic button pillow it still makes me laugh every time I look at it. I'm going to do this one and this one. I might do them on the front and back of the same pillow. And I'm using these 4 colors. 2 of them These two are M&M silks. Love M&M silks. And then this one is a Dinky Dyes Pindy and Silken Colors. The blue is Foggy Dew. Do the M&Ms have M&M Seaweed. And M&M Moss Boss. And I just started in that corner of that motif. Oh, that one is over here. May 13th. Has also been on my May-nia list for several years. It's Serenity Harbor. I think I started it in 2020 for May-nia on May 13th. By the Bay Needle Arts. Mine is on 40 count Lakeside Vintage Lentil. 1/2. And I'm either using the called for DMCs, or if there were big patches of solid color, like the big patches of grass, I chose a variegated, either a cotton or a silk that was similar in color. I love working on this one. It is so calming. All right, after Serenity Harbor, oh, allergy season for sure. The last few years for May-nia, I have started one of these ornaments, one each year. This is a Dimensions Gold collection kit called Christmas Village Ornaments. And this year I started, which one did I start? I can't remember. How sad is that? It's not that one, and it's not that one. Well, where's the pattern? I've already done the bakery and the church. I think I'm doing this one. I think. I'll need to figure that out clearly before I work on it the next time. I usually have a working copy, but I don't know where that's run off to. Oh well, this is what I have so far. Started on the sky. The kit comes with 18 count ivory Aida, and so I just chose a 36 count ivory linen that was very similar to the same color. So I'm doing however many strands it calls for over 2 threads on the linen. On May 15th, I had a new start. It's Forever in Peace by Sweet Wing Studio. Mine is on 32 count Nut by Fabric Flair, 2/2. I started in the, oh, here we go. I started in the middle. Oh, no, maybe it goes. No, that doesn't make sense. We'd have to go this way. Yeah, it goes that way. That's the bottom of the blue part. Using the called for colors, 2/2. This was the Shepherd's Bush Shared Stitches piece from the retreat in October, the Shepherd's Bush retreat, where all of the designers that are there collaborate with Shepherd's Bush on one design. And this one was really cool because the Shepherd's Bush ladies made a design with a whole bunch of spaces where you could put in optional flowers, optional objects, optional, and then all the designers, you have a little booklet. And all of the designers have their own page where they have some motifs that they designed that you could swap in those spaces that are optional. Put whatever object you want in there. It came as a kit with 32 count platinum linen, 2/2, and it came with Weeks Dye Works and Shepherd's Bush floss that they dyed themselves. And that I was able to work on that quite a bit more. This flower stem says family. I love that. All the flowers have a word in the stem. This is Spring Box by New York Dreamer. It wraps around a square bin, like a flower pot. Do you call it a pot when it's square? A flower box? A container. A container, a square container, and it wraps around. I started this one in March, I believe, at the Southern Stitchers Retreat that's put on by Misty Connolly in St. George. Mine is on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha, which is the called for fabric, 2/2 with the called for flosses. And I started in the middle where that house is and got quite a bit done. Such a cute pattern. May 18th is Home is Where My Stitching Is, that I started a couple of years ago on May 18th by Primitive Hair. Mine is on 32 count agave linen, Don't know why I'm showing you that. Oh, you can see it all on there. And I did my own conversion to a green color scheme. And I'm using Sulky, S-U-L-K-Y, 12 weight, the thicker 12 weight cotton. And then for the white, I'm using DMC Floche, F-L-O-C-H-E in white. It's also a little bit of a thicker thread. And I got some letters in. It says, home is where? With fuzz. And part of the border. And some more of the house. One over two. May 19th is Vintage Black Sampler, which I started a couple of years ago and then decided to restart because I was not enjoying the fabric. It's a beautiful pattern, and I love this sparkly white, I think this is 20 count, Ada, sparkly white, opalescent white, 20 count Ada. I had this much done and realized that I just do not like the scratchiness of the fabric. And this is Sulky 12 weight black is what I was using. So I restarted it a couple months ago, but only had a little bit done because I was just discouraged having to redo all of that again. So this is the piece that my daughter, Catherine, took home for Mother's Day and my birthday this year to give it a little boost. And she decided to put in everything that I had on the previous one. She filled all of that in so I did not have to stitch it a second time. She is just amazing. So this time it's on 46 count Silver Fox by Fiber on a Whim. And I'm using a Verissois black silk noir. A Verissois Soie d'Alger in noir. And she did more of the border that she knew I did not want to do. All I had done, I started in the middle because I couldn't bear coming up here and doing all this again. So all I had done was this little bit of a horse, and she did all of that. Such a pretty piece. I always think of it as the Mary Poppins piece because I think that lady on there looks like Mary Poppins. This lady right here. One over two. May 20th was a new start. It's a Mill Hill Buttons and Beads kit called Outdoor Adventure. I'm using everything that came in the kit, the perforated paper and the floss, and it will have beads and buttons eventually. This is the larger size of this magnetic wooden holder that works well for perforated paper by PNB Creations. It's a solid color behind it, but I don't have anything that's a solid color. Oh well. I started on the tent and the trees. Okay, a couple of fabulous viewers told me how to say this one because it's Gaelic. Well, if we could find... This was also a kit we received at the Shepherd's Bush Retreat last October in Park City. And she named it after her granddaughter. It's the lady who owns the Thread Gatherer was there, gave a wonderful presentation, and then gave us this kit. But her granddaughter's name is Saoirse. I love the bright, and she let her granddaughter pick some of the colors. I love the bright purple and mulberries in it. I just think it's so beautiful. I'll probably just do it as a square version, not as a drum. But she kitted it up with Thread Gatherer silks, of course. And the fabric is 32 count Winter Moon linen. She said her granddaughter was very particular that she needed a purple door. And I just think that color is so pretty. May 22nd was also a new start. L'Atelier. I'll have to practice that French. By Camille Colget Camps. You can find it on the Jardin Privé website. Here's the website to find Camille Colget Camps patterns that are on there. I just thought the colors were so cute. It's on 46 count antique white linen with the called for flosses. DMC. And I got the big chicken done. Lara, if you're stitching, look up. Look, it's a chicken. And it's a pink chicken. It's a happy chicken. Now I have a runny nose and an itchy nose. Let's see, next is Village Canal. It's a dimensions kit that I started a couple of years ago on May 23rd. It looks like this. I'm using the kit floss, but I switched the fabric out for 32 count Blue Dreams by Fabric Flair. 2/2. Love that one. That one is also very calming. May 24th was a new start. And it is a stitch along with my friend. Oh, I can remember her name until I get in front of the camera, and then I can't remember her name. I will tell you next time. I will write it on the card and tell you next time. But she also has this kit and said, oh, when you start that, let me know. We'll start it together. So we did. We started it on May 24th. Mine is on 28 count Pansy Lugana by Picture This Plus. And I'm using, I thought I was using the silks, but I'm not. I'm using the DMC. But I am using the beads and the specialty thread that I called for. It is a Just Nan kit. It looks like this. Butterflies, blossoms, and beads. And I found this on the freebie table. It was a class kit from many years ago. So it came with the charm that goes in the middle and the beads. And this is what I have so far. I finished the border. That border is done in pearl cotton. So part of it's floss and part of it's pearl cotton. It's just a tiny little thing. Don't want that needle to fall out. And then the last day, May 25th, was a new start. And it is the Garden Bag by Shepherd's Bush. On this. And I bought the kit from Shepherd's Bush. Oh my gosh. With the pearl cotton to stitch it. And that is how far I got. Not really far. Okay, so that's the May-nia review. How much got done during May-nia, the first 25 days, is what I did this year for May. Okay, then I worked on some other ones that weren't part of May-nia. Matter in Hand is our current October to October stitch along that I'm doing with Colette Kingsley, the Highway Stitcher, and many of you. We start it in October and then we try and finish it by October. Colette divided it up for us into 12 sections. These are the 12 that we're doing. Did I say Matter in Hand by Jeanette Douglas? I can't remember. Oh, goodness. And I finished my section for May. I have not done the June section yet. And I'm doing mine on 46 count London Fog by Under the Sea Fabrics. This one is so fun. I love this piece. And I've been trying to finish Teresa Kogut's Halloween Sampler. I decided I wanted to stitch it in 2 years, so I divided it into 24 sections. You can get it in this book called Hello Halloween, or you can also get just the digital pattern if you are a part of her Patreon group in her Patreon store. Oh, and if you want to see how I divided it up, here is a picture of that. And I started it on Labor Day 2 years ago, so coming up in September, it should be finished. I'm down here on the bottom. Using all the called for colors on 46 count Dark Mountain by XJU Designs. Oh, this is another stitch along I'm doing with a friend, Becky, I think. This is The Seasons by the Sea by Jeanette Douglas. I just barely started. I finished winter and now I have just barely started spring. This one needs something white behind it for you to see. The fabric is a really light gray. I just did this, the sand part of spring so far. I worked some more on Spring Moon by Plum Street Samplers. Mine is on 46 count Peanut by Bee Stitch Me. One over two, one strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. I'm getting ready to go to StitchCon next week. No, this week, in like 2 days. I'll be at Weekend A as a participant. And then I'll be in the hotel during Weekend B. So I'll be in the Hyatt lobby of Hyatt during Weekend B. So it's kind of like A+. Hopefully I'll be able to see all of my Weekend B friends if they walk through the Hyatt lobby. But as I was thinking about it, I thought, what did I start last year at StitchCon, or the day after I got home from StitchCon, because I saw something at StitchCon that is not finished yet. Is there something I need to work on? And there were 2 pieces that had the saddest, just tragic little tiny starts. This one is Entrelacs Blue, or Blue Tracery by Reflet de Soie. And I asked Keepsakes to convert it to 103 silks. Susan did a fabulous job. Mine is on 40 count Burnt Sand Linen by Manny Dodonna. And the 103 silks that Susan chose for me are Blanc, 309, 480, 16, and 510. So I pulled it out and got some more stitching done on it so it wouldn't be such a just tragically sad little start. And I'll take it with me and work on it again this year while I'm there. One over two. get it back in the bag. And then the other one that I started last year at StitchCon that had just an abysmal little start was Seaside by Hello from Liz Matthews. And this is one of her ones where you do it on 2 different colors of fabric and then you sew them together. So I am working on this top part. And my top part will be on 46 count Whimsical by Bestitch Me. And the bottom part that's in the water, I have a piece of, oh no, sorry, that's the Whimsical. The top part is 46 count Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. The bottom part is 46 count Whimsical by Bestitch Me. Pitiful, that's the word I want. The most pitiful little starts. And all it had was just a little bit of the roof up here. So I got it out and worked on it some more. I think I'll save the fill-in. It's all done except for that one color of gray fill-in on the house, and I'll do that at StitchCon. That would be a great thing to do while I'm talking. Distracted stitching. Here is my piece of Whimsical that will be the water at the bottom. She released that pattern as a Patreon pattern last June, and I am not sure if she's released it to the public yet or not. I worked on In the Library by Mojo Stitches. This one is so close to a finish. I used the called for Cottage Garden threads. They all have book names or something that has to do with books or libraries. And mine is on the called for 32 count Baked Clay by Fox and Rabbit. This one has such that calm library vibe. Two over two. Oh, that's going to get wrinkled. I've also been working on Beachcomber quite a bit by Carolyn Manning. Using the called for DMC 1/1 on 25 count Lugana. That's antique white color, I believe. No, it goes this way. Oh, those colors just look so good together. Beautiful. That one should be finished this summer, but I know I've been saying that for like 2 years. Are you getting tired yet? I didn't think I had worked on that many things. Oh my goodness. This was also one that I started last year at StitchCon, the day after I retired, as a celebration of retirement. It's a Letty Stitch kit called Window Seat. And I've done these pillows and this part of the window, and now I'm working on this scene that you can see outside the window. And this one wasn't such a pitiful start, but I did want to work on it some more. I'm using the kit floss, but instead of the kit fabric, I used the same count of white even weave, 2/2. Haven't done any of the back stitching yet, but I do back stitch as I go. So pretty soon here I'll back stitch what I have. Oh, Letty Stitch kits are just beautiful, beautiful to work with. Two more, I think. This is the Hometown Stitch Along by Teresa Kogut. It's part of her Patreon Tier 4 group. It's been going on for 2 years. She releases a part every month in the Patreon group. I have May's done, but I don't have June's done yet. Mine is on 46 Count Buttercream by Lakeside. Using the called for DMC. And I believe this is the last one. This is a little Altoid tin, little mint tin, bunnies in the Cross Stitcher magazine. That's out of the UK. Over the year of 2024, they had several patterns to make these little bunnies that are in these little tins. And then in the January 2025 issue, they had a freebie that came with it. That's a little calendar book, a little mini calendar. And it had several more patterns in it as part of the calendar. This is Day and Night Bunny. And these two were in June, 2023, sorry, not 2024. It was over 2023 that these were in. Maybe it started in the middle of 2023 and then went through 2024, because I know it was just the January 2025 that had the little calendar in it, which I should put back in this bag so I can show it to you, but it's not in here. I'm stitching these with my sister-in-law, Debbie, and I have everything but the bunny done. They're so cute. I'm doing it on the called for 28 count Ada with the called for DMC 2/1 Ada square. Okay, that's all of the cross stitching whips. My plans for cross stitching while I'm at StitchCon, my friend Kim and I and Colette, I believe, are starting Jardin Privé Mercerie Broderie. Oh, I looked up what that meant. It's not haberdashery, it's mercantile thread mercantile, maybe. Embroidery Mercantile. I'm trying to remember. And we're just going to do it on white with the called for DMC. I haven't decided what count yet. And then I have been wanting to stitch the Plum Street Salt Box houses. I stitched one of the fall ones and made it into a pillow. But now I think I want to stitch all of the 4 seasons separately with magnets on the back so I can stick them to the front of a metal box to display them. But I haven't decided if I'm starting spring or summer while I'm at StitchCon. One of them. And I'm sure I will have some other new starts at StitchCon of stuff I see that I just have to start right this minute. Okay, I think that is all of the cross stitch content. Now I'm going to talk about my knitting and crocheting. My friend Kim keeps teasing me that I knit and crochet, but I don't ever show it on my channel, like I'm keeping it a secret or something. So I told her, okay, I was supposed to do it on the last video, but I completely forgot. So this video, I promised her I would show my knitting and crocheting. I have been doing all kinds of handwork since I was young. I've always loved it. When I was about 8, I think I learned how to knit and crochet from my grandmother and my mother. I was very lucky to grow up in a family, a large extended family with a lot of people who did handwork. So I had lots of people to help me and teach me and let me borrow things from. So I have always done it. I just, for the last probably 30, 40 years, I have done a lot more cross stitch than I do of knitting and crocheting. And a lot of my knitting and crocheting gets given away as gifts. But I will show you what I'm working on. And now that I'm retired, I was able to pull some old projects out of the back of the closet that had been back there for 100 years because they were for me and they weren't a gift, so they never got finished. So I've been working on those, and I have a little local neighborhood group that gets together and once a week usually, and we crochet and knit together, or any handwork that anyone wants to bring. So that has also motivated me to get it out and start working. But you don't worry that this channel is going to turn into knitting and crochet channel. It will still be cross stitch because that's still my main love. But I do a lot of knitting and crocheting on the side. I know if you knit and crochet, you've heard of the hitchhiker scarf on Ravelry. Ravelry.com is a wonderful website that has lots of patterns for knitting and crocheting. But this was Knit Picks Stroll yarn, I believe. It changes color all by itself in a fingering weight. And I did start this scarf like, I don't know, 8 years ago probably. So that was one of the ones I pulled out of the closet to finish. So I finished that one. And then I was helping, my mother is an expert knitter. She's knit her whole life. And she was working on, she just always has something going. Right now she's working on a throw for herself. That's a pattern that she has used for baby blanket gifts over the years. And I was trying to help her with it, and I couldn't figure out what the pattern was saying. So I thought, oh, I need to start one of these so that I'm doing the same thing as my mom so I can help her. So I started 2 of them. I started one. Wow, there's something there that needs to be fixed. I started this one. This is yarn from Hobby Lobby that changes color all by itself. It comes in the cake. Yarn Bee yarn that comes in the color cake. Sweet something cake. And I think this one's called, it's like going camping or toasted marshmallow or something. I can't remember. So now that I'm familiar with this pattern, and I'll just keep this until I have someone, a shower I'm invited to, and I'll give it to them. I'm also going to make a little pair of booties in that. The pattern is an old pattern of my mother's that includes a sweater and a hat and booties, and this is actually a carriage robe for your baby carriage, a little blanket for your baby carriage. But I'll do a little pair of booties in the matching yarn because I still have some. And then this is Lion brand mandala yarn that changes color all by itself in that exact same pattern. I made this one a little bit bigger as a baby blanket as well. Makes me think of popsicles. And what is on it right there? Oh, it has a little pink. There's little bits of color that scattered around as it changes colors. So there's a little bit of pink right there. And then I did not hide all the ends on this, I don't think yet. Oh, maybe I did. This was another hitchhiker scarf out of some yarn from Michael's. It's also a fingering weight yarn, Boucles, B-O-U-C-L-E-S. I can't remember what the color is. So soft, that one is. I started this Afghan for my nephew, Jeffrey, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years ago. And I finally pulled it out and finished it. It has a fringe edge. And the colors show more vibrantly on the front. And then it's more gray on the back. And the colors kind of peek through. The pattern was from Ravelry called Sunshine and Shadows. And I made it huge because you know how when you lay down on the couch and you put that throw on, but your feet are out the bottom. So I made it really tall and huge so you could lay on the couch and be under it. I just need to get it to him now. Okay, and then true to form, I have several projects going at the same time. I guess we'll do knitting first. I wanted to learn how to make a pair of socks. I've always wondered how you make socks. So in March, right before I left on my trip to Egypt, I started a pair of socks and then carried it around with me in Egypt and finished these socks. This is sock yarn from Hobby Lobby. And then I just did a contrasting color for it was something Malta, not Party in Malta. Can't remember what it was called. And then I was shopping with my friend Kim at the Seed Stitch store, yarn store in Bountiful, Utah. Beautiful store, lots of yarn. And they had the signature 4-ply West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, that's self-striping sock yarn. So this is my second pair of socks. And I love how it stripes. I just think that's so cool. It's a top-down sock, so I have size 10, very skinny, long size 10 feet, so I'm not quite to the toe yet. So those are my socks. Also at the Seed Stitch store in Bountiful on historic Main Street, they had this beautiful yarn, Spin Cycle yarns, wool yarn, sport weight, Reykjavik. I bought it in 3 colors. To do. They had one of these cowls on the table there as a model for you to look at. So it pulls over, it's like a scarf, but it pulls over it sews together in a circle so it pulls over your head. And it is on Ravelry called The Shift. And here's what I have so far on that. It just keeps combining the 3 colors together in different ways to make this cool pattern. And another hitchhiker shawl, because I just love having one on the go that I can just grab and take with me. And I already have the pattern memorized. This is Yarn Bee Yarn from Hobby Lobby in the color Cobblestone. And it is almost done. If you don't know why the hitchhiker scarf is called hitchhiker, it's because it has 42 teeth on it, the one edge. Because 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I think I have 40 teeth, so this one's almost done. And then my friend Kim and I were shopping in Ogden at the Needlepoint Joint, which is also the largest yarn specialty high-end yarn store I have ever seen in my life. They have everything. And they had a model of this scarf hanging up in there. And it's one solid color and one variegated color. And it's the URTH yarns, earth yarns. So this is my variegated color and this is my solid color. It doesn't tell me what color it is though. Oh, it's a unique sock yarn. Color 4006. And that is this one so far. Is that the right side? Yes, that's the right side. This one has a right side and a wrong side. You can tell that it's starting to change colors up there at the top. It started dark, now it's getting lighter. And I think this is my last knitting project that has been in the back of the closet since I bought this book. It had 2000. I bought this book in the year 2000 at a bookstore because I thought I want to learn how to make Fair Isle sweaters. So I started one, and I ordered, where's my other sleeve? Sorry, it's too much stuff around here. It's made with Philosopher's 100% wool yarn from Canada, and I went to the website in 2000 and ordered the yarn from them in the color, in this specific colorway, and I knitted 2 sleeves. Probably within that first year, I probably had these 2 sleeves done. And then just had maybe an inch of the main body done. And so I pulled it out, I don't know, maybe in January, February, I can't remember, and I've been working on it. I love Fair Isle. I need to make some more Fair Isle stuff. This method, you only use 2 colors at a time, so you have one on one hand and one on the other. It's two-handed knitting. And it is chunky, chunky wool. Oh, sorry, hit the camera. Okay, those are the knitting projects. And then I just have 3 crochet projects since I finished my Afghan. This shawl came up on my Instagram feed last fall, the Hygge shawl. And I thought it was the most beautiful thing. I thought I need to make that. So I ordered the pattern on Ravelry. And there's also a whole series of videos, because it was a stitch along originally. There's a whole series of videos that teach you how to do each section by the designer, Kirsten Ballering. Hawk Maroc is her website. But if you just do a search on YouTube for the Hygge shawl stitch along, you'll find them. So it uses the, is it Sheepus stone washed, this gray-black color for the background color. And then it uses these little mini skeins of Sheepus Katona cotton for the pattern work. And it's just rows of single crochet with some popcorn stitch there. And then right over here, you're actually cross stitching on top of the single crochet shawl to make the rest of the patterns. I thought, well, I have to do that. It's crochet and cross stitch together. But that's how much I have done so far. This was another one I found back at the back of my closet that I probably started 12 years ago. From this Red Heart book that cost $2.75 at Robert's, which is a store that no longer exists. And I wanted to make this sweater right here on the cover. But I changed the colors slightly because I had to use whatever the store I was in at the time had. And these are the colors that I chose. Is that the right side or the wrong side? Right side. So that's what I have so far. And I'm using Caron Simply Soft yarn. And then the very last one, I promise, also got started, I don't know, 20 years ago at Bear Lake. We were at the King's Variety Store in Montpelier, Idaho. This book was $1.57, and I wanted to make this tablecloth. Heirlooms to Crochet book by Coates and Clark. And I have this much done. It's been in the closet so long, it's starting to turn slightly yellow. I'm going to have to wash it in some Orbit handwork soap. Okay, that is all of the things. I promise. And I will see you after I get back from StitchCon. Have a wonderful stitchy day. Bye-bye.